I want to talk through the formal roles of the governor and the lieutenant governor in the lawmaking process. Both the California governor and the California lieutenant governor have formal roles in the lawmaking process, despite the fact that this authority is granted to the legislative branch of state government pursuant to Article 4 of the California Constitution. Article 4, Section 1 specifically provides that the legislative power of the state is vested in the California legislature, which consists of the Senate and Assembly. It also notes that the people reserve to themselves the powers of initiative and referendum. On the other hand, Article 5, Section 1 provides that the supreme executive power of this state is vested in the governor, and that the governor shall see that the law is faithfully executed. Nonetheless, it's in Article 4 where we find several provisions that actually specify the role of the governor in the lawmaking process. For example, in Article 4, Section 2D, it requires that when a vacancy occurs in the legislature, the governor shall immediately call an election to fill that vacancy. Article 4, Section 3B specifies in part that on extraordinary occasions, the governor by proclamation may cause the legislature to assemble in special session. In Article 4, Section 8B2, there's only one exception to the 72-hour in print rule, and that's where it may be waived if the governor has submitted to the legislature a written statement that dispensing with this notice period for a particular bill is necessary to address a state of emergency that's been declared by the governor. Article 10A that's Section 10A of Article 4, requires each bill passed by the legislature to be presented to the governor. Article 4, Section 10E provides the line item veto authority, or what we call the blue pencil authority, to the governor. It provides in part that the governor may reduce or eliminate one or more items of appropriation while approving other portions of a bill. There's Article 4, Section 12A that requires the governor to present the proposed budget for consideration by the legislature. It provides in part, within the first 10 days of each calendar year, the governor shall submit to the legislature with an explanatory message a budget for the ensuing fiscal year containing itemized statements for recommended state expenditures and estimated state revenues. And finally, in Article 4, Section 19F, it provides in part that the governor is authorized to negotiate and conclude compacts that are subject to the ratification by the legislature of slot machines and lottery games and banking and percentage card games with federally recognized Indian tribes. It's interesting to note, actually, that the word governor is mentioned 42 times in Article 4 of the Constitution, which of course deals with the legislative branch. In Article 5, dealing with the executive branch, there are additional provisions related to the lawmaking process. In Article 5, Section 3, it says that the governor shall report to the legislature each calendar year on the condition of the state and may make recommendations. This is the governor's annual State of the State address. Also, in Article 5, Section 8A, it requires the governor to report to the legislature each reprieve, pardon, and commutation granted, stating the pertinent facts and reasons for granting it. And Section 8B also requires the governor to report to the legislature each parole decision that was affirmed, modified, or reversed by the governor, and likewise stating the pertinent facts and reasons for that gubernatorial action. It's interesting to note that the word legislature is mentioned 10 times in Article 5, even though Article 5 deals with the executive branch of the government. Now let's turn briefly to the lieutenant governor. In Article 5, Section 9, it says, the lieutenant governor shall have the same qualifications as the governor. The lieutenant governor is president of the Senate, but has only a casting vote. So while the lieutenant governor is president of the Senate, the lieutenant governor only has one role there, which is to vote when there is a 2020 tie in the state Senate. The term casting vote is defined by the Office of Legislative Counsel as the deciding vote that the lieutenant governor may cast in the case of a tie vote in the Senate. And of course, when the governor is incapacitated or when the governor is out of state, which is the most likely scenario, our lieutenant governor takes over and has the full role and responsibilities and duties in the legislative process that the governor of the state then has.